how's it going? Abby from Glew here, along with my colleagues Megan and Caitlin.
Hey guys.
Hi everyone.
We're so excited to have you guys here with us today for the first session in our Black Friday, Cyber Monday webinar series. This is our first year doing a series like this, but we've been helping merchants navigate Black Friday, Cyber Monday for a super long time. So we're really excited to be sharing our tips with you over the next couple of weeks, starting with our first session today. As you guys know, with everything going on this year with COVID and in the e-commerce world, using your data to develop the right strategy is more important right now than ever. So we're super excited to bring you, tips and advice from our team, and we hope it'll be super useful for you. We'll give it just a minute or two for some of the latecomers to filter in, but we'll just go over some of the logistics while we wait. We're planning to keep these sessions pretty short and focused since we have a couple of them coming up in the next couple of weeks. So we're hoping to keep it to around 30 or 40 minutes. So we shouldn't take up too much of your time, and we'll save some time at the end for questions. So if you have questions, let us know in the chat box or in the Ask a Questions module down at the bottom, and we'll cover those at the end. And if you're in here and in the chat now and you want to say hi, we'd love to know where you're tuning in from, what store you're representing. We'd love to say hi, so let us know. We'll also be sending out a recording of this session tomorrow as soon as we have the recording ready, if there's anybody at your company that couldn't make it live today, so keep an eye out for that. And we'll share some information on the upcoming sessions at the end of this session today. So stick around for that, and we will be sharing some email invitations and notifications about those as we get closer as well. So yeah, super excited. I think with that, we can go ahead and get started. Meg, if you want to go ahead and share your screen, we'll kick things off.
Yeah, let's do it.
Awesome. Thanks, Meg. Sorry guys, and I'm talking a lot. I'll let Meg and Caitlin introduce themselves a little bit too when they get started. So again, thank you guys so much for joining us. We're really excited to have you with us today. I'm just going to give a quick overview of what we're going to be covering today, and then I'll turn it over to Meg and Caitlin to really share the advice and the tips here. So our topic today is lessons learned, how to look at last year's Black Friday, Cyber Monday data to create this year's plan. And just a heads up, we're going to kind of be using Black Friday, Cyber Monday, or BFCM as a shorthand throughout all of these presentations. But what we mean by that is really the holiday shopping season as a whole, not necessarily just that one weekend in November, since those lines kind of keep getting more and more blurred. The holiday shopping season is really, starting earlier and earlier every year. So today we're going to be covering a few indicators about this particular Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and holiday season, what's coming down the pipe, what merchants are looking forward to and anticipating that's unique to 2020 and this kind of weird season that we're in right now. We're also going to be getting into your historical data and why it makes sense to start there when developing your Black Friday, Cyber Monday strategy. We're also going to be taking a quick tour through your performance, your products, your channels, and your customers to see how you can really mine your historical data in all of those different areas to develop a successful holiday season strategy this year. So yeah, really excited to cover that with you guys. With that, I think I'm done talking, so I will hand it over to Meg.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you, Abby. Yeah, so real quickly, just some things about Black Friday, Cyber Monday 2020 that I think is kind of good to know. So this year they're projecting over $51 billion just in US e-commerce sales alone. So I think for me, especially if I was a merchant, that's super exciting because there's a whole big pie out there and really opportunity for everyone. Another thing we wanted to point out too is a lot of people are planning to shop more online. So 73% of people, and one thing I know, my mom said she went to the mall yesterday and there's like hardly any stores open and also like low inventory. So I think that also combined with everything going on with COVID is just going to be online is going to be where it's at this year. So not only do you see increased traffic, but even more so this year. And then the last thing I kind of want to talk about is just the starting early. That's a theme I think that I've seen. I know a lot of people are preparing to do different, like maybe a Prime Day from Amazon in October. So I think that's also like a theme, like just getting started earlier is going to be where you want to be. So if we look at performance and looking at some of our historical data, I think it's always important whenever you're planning for Black Friday, Cyber Monday, or anything in life to kind of look back at, what performed well, what was, maybe areas you could improve on, and really kind of sit down and say like, hey, what are we looking to get out of this year's holiday season? So one KPIs I would definitely start with is obviously revenue. So, looking at your year-over-year percentage increase last holiday season compared to the year before, you can kind of start to see trends and plan for that. Maybe the last couple of years you've grown 20% year-over-year or 30%. And that kind of then think about that. How does that affect overall everything? The second metric is conversion rate. So I think that's really important. And I'll kind of talk a lot about this is also not only looking at your conversion rate as a store overall, but also looking at your conversion rate on your different mobile, tablet, desktop. It's really important to make sure that all of those three have, look at the conversion rate. Is it seem, does one of those areas seem low? Is there a reason why? So making sure to kind of look into that. And then the third thing is cart abandonment rate. So that's one I also was reading a lot about, just how that's going to be really important this year too. You have a lot more increased traffic. So making sure that when people come to your website, like what products are they abandoning? Also, two, do you have a really strong abandonment plan in place? So, making sure you have those flows automated, because I know for me personally too, I'll go and I'll shop and then maybe I'll put something in my cart and then maybe I'll come back later, or I want to see, maybe I'm looking at multiple stores. So make sure you have a really good, strong plan because that's some low hanging fruit that you could really leverage and increase sales. And then device and website performance. So like I said earlier, looking at your website performance on all of your different devices. So I personally would try to order from my mobile phone, also a device, desktop, have some of your friends, family, have them give you feedback. I just know, for me personally, if I can't order something really quickly, then I get discouraged and I won't order it. I'll go somewhere else. So there's also a couple of free sites that you can look at too on your website performance. So Google Page Speed Insights, that will also tell you your page loads. So that's also a good one. And then lastly, just a COVID effect. I think that depending on your business, some of my clients that maybe they were mostly wholesale and now they've all, it's kind of flopped to e-commerce. That's obviously going to impact their Black Friday, Cyber Monday, because I know especially BHC, last year, their Black Friday, Cyber Monday was mostly through their wholesale, Nordstrom, Neiman, et cetera. Whereas this year, it's going to be e-commerce mostly. So it's always kind of, depending on what type of business you are, kind of making sure that you're prepared if maybe this is one of your first years that, e-commerce is the sole focus. So with that being said, the next thing that we're going to go into is kind of our product performance. So I want to actually kind of take you guys into the app for that to go through some of the different metrics. So if we look at in Glew, so this is going to be some of the different metrics that I was just talking about, like revenue, conversion rates, visits. This is all going to be on the highlights. But now I want to segue into product performance. So some of the things that you want to ask yourself is what products and categories sold well during last holiday season. And one thing I want to point out too is I know that a lot of you guys, you might not have the same set of SKUs, but that's okay. I think historical data is still applicable because you can see maybe it's hoodies performed really well last year versus track pants the year before. So you can kind of get a sense, even though it's not necessarily the same SKU, it could be similar. So if we take a look into our products, I love these preset segments because, again, going off of the date range. So I think you can look at this. Maybe you wanted to isolate just Thanksgiving through Cyber Monday or the holidays as a whole, or November and December and October. It's kind of every year I feel like it gets bigger. You can just change the date range and then all of your different product segments will update. So really quickly, I can kind of see like what were my top selling products. Another one that I love right here is like my hot products. So what products had the biggest growth period over period? That's going to also help me just in terms of like inventory, knowing what products were trending. Top products bundled. So if I actually click on this, I can see what my customers are actually purchasing together. And I think this is really powerful. I work with the company eBoost, and one of the things they noticed is that a lot of their clients were purchasing like multi-flavor bundles together, like protein powders, and they didn't offer a multi-flavor bundle on the website. So that was a really easy way for them to drive their average order value up, as well as like in their marketing collateral. They could promote those. So I think that's a great, is often bundled. I love these just for not only product placement on the website, but also like your email marketing, etc. And then most abandoned products. So kind of going back to what I was saying earlier, that cart abandonment. Also, is it like, you know, these different products that are being abandoned, is there a certain reason? Is the description on my website not good? Is the color, is the picture off? All things to kind of think about. So if we go back out into the product list, this is going to show us, again, based on the date range that we have, our product performance. So a couple things to take into account. Obviously, revenue. I love looking at, too, not only orders, but quantity sold, just kind of thinking about that, too. Like, okay, this is X amount of money, but how many do we actually move? Customer lifetime value. So that's also a really strong metric to look at for Black Friday, Cyber Monday. So even like pitching, you know, what products have a really high lifetime value, but also have a good amount of quantity sold, orders sold that I could, you know, maybe lead with to my never purchase customers, or product placement on the website. So all really good information to kind of dig in. And then from there, you also can dig into through the filters by channel. So I was just helping a client get ready. We were kind of talking about their Black Friday, Cyber Monday strategy, holiday strategy. And it was really interesting because we looked at last year's performance, and we looked at CPC Google versus Facebook versus Instagram. And it's just really funny how each of the different advertising channels kind of have their own flow or theme. So all of the products, the client I was helping, they do like athleisure wear for men. And it was funny because all of the products that did the best on Instagram were like the slim fitting products, versus Facebook was, you know, the regular fit. But if you think about it, the demographic on Instagram is younger than Facebook. So that's just good to know from a marketing perspective of like what products should I be promoting on what different channels. And then from there, another thing that I really like to look at is going to be on this inventory tab. There's a lot of really good metrics, but one of my favorite metrics, I love this metric, is inventory velocity. So this is just showing me, based on the date range that I have, how much of that product am I actually moving per day. So I can see, you know, last holiday season, I moved about almost 76 of the gold sequin pump. So what's great about that is just for like forecasting, for planning. One of the worst things you want to do is have people wanting to buy your stuff and you not having anything to sell. So, you know, a lot of looking at depletion days, out of stock day, based on the rate that you're selling. So this can kind of give you a sense of like, okay, what moved really quickly, what didn't. You know, you could even filter on inventory velocity. So one of my clients, we just did this too, looking at like what didn't sell last holiday season, because he's like, I don't want to carry that product for this year. So he said, I sent it to my the girl that orders all of my products and said, hey, don't carry these products. Like, we didn't move these once they sell out. Like, that's it. So a lot of these metrics will be really valuable and helpful for you guys. And then the last thing I kind of want to just go through is tags or categories. So I think this is also something to kind of consider. Also looking at like, and thinking about your products from different price points. So like when we look at like tags or categories, you can kind of get a sense like which ones were top performing, like what's the price point of those? Do the shoes cost more than or less than jeans? You know, so you can kind of get a sense too of like what range your customers are purchasing. You can also put your different items on your website for different, like, you know, parameters, whether it's like gifts under 50, 100 to 200, but, kind of thinking about which ones perform the best and where to place those. And then lastly, on these, you can also filter on a campaign channel device source. So one of my clients, we wanted to look at, like, in terms of the different channels, like what products or categories did the best. So like was, boots, did they perform better on Instagram, but jeans did better on Facebook? And then that's just valuable because from a marketing perspective, I can market those products that do the best on those platforms. So that's just a couple of things on products. So Caitlin, I'll let you take over with the customers.
Awesome. Thanks, Meg.
Yeah, sure.
All right. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Perfect. All right. Hi, everyone. So now I want to actually talk about channels and how we can leverage last year's data for now. So especially when it comes to online, looking at successful channels from last BFCM will be helpful to predict what channels, obviously, to focus your advertising and all digital campaigns on for this year. I also think if you had a big boom during the beginning of the pandemic, as Meg said, I think it's a good idea to also look at your channel performance from that time period, because I think there's going to be a lot of parallels this year for COVID booms and also for BFCM this year. So when it comes to campaign performance, I think there's a lot more that we can look at besides just straight revenue and gross profit. I think a super important metric to analyze is customer lifetime value. The channels with the highest lifetime value are going to give you the best insight into which channels to focus your efforts on. Obviously, acquisition costs are an important factor when looking to where to spend your advertising dollars and then adapt accordingly. Tying into that, repeat customers by channel, I think, is a really good metric to focus on to ensure that you're maximizing your customer acquisition by acquiring customers that will buy for themselves down the road, as well as not just for others, as this is obviously the gift buying season. So I want to actually hop into the platform as well as Meg did. So we're able to actually click around and see ways that we can actually look at channel performance. So here in Glew, what we do is we calculate lifetime value for you for your customer segments as well as a whole. So the way that we calculate this is we actually multiply average order value times average purchase frequency. So you can calculate this. And what you can see that I'm doing is I actually have applied an extra filter here to actually look at a particular campaign for BFCM. So what we can do is we can actually analyze any campaigns that you ran last year to be able to see what the success of those campaigns were, so you can see what adaptations you need to make for this year. On the flip side of that too, we can actually look at different time periods for those campaigns, like how much or what was our best campaign for driving repeat customers last holiday season, or just which one had the highest for first time conversion new customers as well. So being able to compare those numbers week by week. And this is probably my favorite chart in our platform that we offer, because this really gives you some crystal clear insight into each individual channel that you have. Now, if you're familiar with looking at your Google Analytics and all of the different channel performance or mediums that they attribute revenue to, we actually take it a step further and we actually can segment each individual channel and go beyond just social media. So it really helps you to give you some insight into being able to see which channels are doing well, like my Facebook paid versus just organic, Facebook or Instagram. Or if we wanted to look at, for example, CPC Google, when you click into one of those channels here, you can actually see not only just your total gross profit and ad spend dollars and return on ad spend, but we also can actually tell you on a particular campaign with CPC Google how much revenue you received from each campaign. So I think these are some really good insights to be able to just leverage moving forward for next year too, or for this year. All right. So next, the final pillar I really wanted to talk about is our customers from last year. So finding the high lifetime value customer segments to target for your campaigns this year is key to ensure that obviously you're spending your time wisely on the customers with the highest return. In addition to that, though, your VIP customers, I think, are going to be super key this year when it comes to how you approach them to ensure to get them thinking about your store over others that they might be shopping at. So at Glew, when we say VIP customers, we're talking about the top 10% of your customer base based on how much revenue that they've spent with you in their lifetime. So if you think about it, those customers, they're probably going to be big spenders at other brands as well. So I think it's really important for brands to be able to make sure that you make them aware of their status with you as a customer, such as being able to offer things like early access sales or free gifts with purchases over a certain dollar amount or any special promotion. I mean, I'm just thinking about myself, even as a shopper, whenever I get an email or an offer when I know that I am already going to be holiday shopping or I'm trying to think of gifts, if there's any extra incentive out there for me to be able to spend with another brand over any other ones I'm thinking of, I'm pretty likely to be able to do that, especially if they're making me or they're going out of their way to make me feel special. So I think that this really helps to be able to maximize your conversion this year with those big ticket spenders. So you're able to spend your time accordingly to make sure that you're maximizing revenue. And then although during the holiday season, customers tend to be buying for others, the ultimate goal is to have a high retention rate and upsell those customers after the holiday season too. I mean, that's kind of the dream. So looking at last year's data, you can analyze to see which customer segments came back to purchase again, what products did they buy, what did these customers have in common, et cetera. And this can help you to ensure that you have an even higher retention rate this year, as well as focusing your acquisition on customers that are going to maximize your customer lifetime value as well. All right, so going into our customer segments here. So this is kind of our predefined segments that we actually have listed out here. And what I like about this is there's a lot of really cool ways that we can dive into. And again, you can do a custom date range to whatever time period that you want. So you can look at, like Meg said, if your holiday shopping tends to start a little bit earlier in October, you're able to do that. But we have all these different segments listed that you can really leverage and analyze for your data. So you can see how much revenue I get from first purchase customers, which products are actually getting my customers to convert this time. And if I wanted to be able to create a segment for all of these customers that purchased for the first time last holiday season, we actually have fantastic connections with MailChimp and Klaviyo, where you can actually push these segments directly to your platforms to make it that much easier and more seamless for you to be able to run these campaigns directly through Glew, which is awesome. And then we also even have a segment, just going back to what Meg was saying about abandoned cart items. We have a segment for all of those customers that are actually have abandoned carts and never purchased from you. We also even have a section just for never purchased. Maybe they signed up for an email list with you and they never actually have bought something. I think these two segments are super easy, low-hanging fruit segments that you can capitalize on to ensure that you're able to try to maximize your conversions this year. And then going into our customer list too. So this is actually where we can see just a full customer list and you're able to create your own custom segment. And what I like about this is we also, for any of you guys that use like loyalty programs like Loyalty Lion or Smile.io, we actually have some really cool segments and tiers here that you can see how many rewards points people have, what status that they're in, if they're in the VIP tier. So if you wanted to run custom campaigns that are tailored to those exact rewards members based on their status with you, very easy to do that. And again, push directly to your email marketing. And we also can even apply separate filters too. So if we wanted to add filters to be able to see people that have ordered more than twice from us and have an average order value greater than or equal to, let's say, $150. We can actually create this segment here and again, push it directly to Klaviyo. The sky is the limit with this type of segmentation. I think it's really powerful tool to be able to just ensure that you're spending your time efficiently when it comes to being able to look at different customer segments. All right. And so with that, I will turn it over to Abby.
That was really valuable. I think you guys covered so much of the stuff that you can do in Glew that is really, really neat when looking at your historical data. Especially, I mean, I just think I like nerd out over the customer segments. I think that is like one of the coolest things that you can do in the app, and it's so easy. And I think especially around the holiday season, like looking back at your existing customer base and looking at, who you can pull out of your existing customers that are really so valuable to your brand and how you can kind of treat them differently over the holiday season. I think it's so easy to do in Glew, and I think that's really, really valuable. Well, awesome. That's all the planned content we had for you guys today. If you guys have any questions, would love to take them now for a couple of minutes, or just hear about what you guys are planning to do, for your Black Friday, Cyber Monday strategy. So we'll hang on the line for a couple of minutes. Feel free to drop them in, and we'll start taking them now. Awesome. We just got one question from Danny. It says, how granular does customer segmentation get? Can you filter down to gender, geo, location, and age? So I'm going to take a stab at answering that. And Meg and Caitlin, you guys might be able to jump in as well. I know out of the box in Glew.io, we can filter by geo. I think we have state and city potentially. Anything more granular than that, I do think we are able to do in a custom report. Is that right?
Yep. That would be in Glew Plus. But yeah, right out of the box, you can filter down by like state, zip code. Yes.
Yep. Awesome. That's a really good question. Another good question from Tia, can Glew segment by payment type, i.e. Amazon Pay, PayPal, etc.? I actually don't know the answer to that one. Do you guys know that?
Yeah, we can in Glew Plus, yes.
Awesome. Yeah, and that's a really good question. If you guys are wondering, can I do X or Y because I don't see it out of the box in Glew, like 9 times out of 10, you can do it in a custom report. So just, bring us those questions because, chances are it is possible.
Yes.
Awesome. Good questions. Anything else, let us know. Otherwise, we've got some good sessions coming up. If you're registered for this one, you don't need to register again. You will automatically be on the invite, but you'll just need to, log back onto the link, and we'll send out some email notifications. Looks like we've got a couple other questions coming in. This is great. Della asked, as far as Klaviyo integrations are concerned, can you create a segment in Klaviyo that auto-populates or syncs based on your customer segments in Glew? Great question. Yes, that's exactly what our sync with Klaviyo is designed to do. So you can create a customer segment in Glew and then automatically sync it to Klaviyo. I don't know if you guys want to add any color there.
Yeah, I was just going to say you can also, with the Klaviyo integration, it's super strong. So those any of those segments, they dynamically push into Klaviyo, but we also have different product suggestions that you can also automate, which I think is super powerful. So it's like, hey, based on, their a customer's purchase history, you can suggest or automate different suggested products, very similar to what Amazon does to you. So not only can you push them dynamically, but then you can also automate some different suggested products too, which I think is really valuable.
Yeah, totally. And that's super easy to find. It's going to be on your customer segments, and you just toggle on the Klaviyo or MailChimp sync, and all the customers in your segment, they'll sync that night. I think it's at midnight UTC, and then going forward, the contacts in that segment will sync and update nightly at the same time. So that's kind of constantly updating as well, which is great. Couple other good questions in here. Keep them coming if you have them. Danny just asked, and you guys may know this better than me, can you do demand planning / forecasting with Glew? So I know our inventory reporting out of the box, you can do some demand planning with that, and you may be able to do some more kind of granular forecasting with custom reports.
Yeah, I would say, using that inventory velocity, sell-through rate. You can also, any of the different filters that you set up, you can also send automated reports. So a lot of my clients with looking at inventory velocity combined with like depletion dates, they'll send automated reports that they get like daily, so they can see like what products are going to be out of stock. So I would definitely go through the inventory tab in Glew. And if any of you guys are current customers or prospective customers, we're happy to hop on the phone with you and kind of go through your own strategy for Black Friday, Cyber Monday, or the holidays too.
Totally. And I know just off the top of my mind, we've done some really, really cool custom reports for inventory planning with some of our Glew Plus integrations for some of our more recent clients. And we have a ton of kind of like 3PL and warehouse and fulfillment integration. So that's definitely something that we can achieve with custom reports as well.
Definitely.
Last question I see in here, where is at the payment type breakdown? So I think he's asking, where you can segment by payment type. And Meg, you said that was available for a custom report, right?
Yeah, that would be in a custom report through Glew Plus. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. So if you're interested in anything that we've said that, is available in a custom report, just let us know. We can, discuss pricing of that with you. They're available ad hoc. You can just get one custom report kind of off the cuff. So we can definitely discuss that with our team. Awesome. Yep. Any other questions? Those are all really good questions. Thank you. I think that's it. So we will follow up with you guys shortly with a recording, hopefully tomorrow. We'll send these slides out as well. And we've got a Black Friday, Cyber Monday guide in those slides that we'll share with you. I'm actually going to pull that up really quick just because it has Meg and Caitlin's contact information on it. So you guys can see that. If you have any questions, you can reach out to them. If you're a current client, you can reach out to us anytime at support@glew.io. And yeah, we've got a couple other really great, hang on, give me one moment. And we've got some really great sessions coming up. So in 2 weeks, we're going to be talking about the kind of the COVID impact of Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and how you can use your data to navigate some of those challenges and capitalize on some of the unique opportunities. After that, on October 22nd, we're going to be talking about making your marketing channels work for you. And on November 5th, our last session, we're going to be talking about retention strategies for the customers you acquire over the holiday season. So with that, we will wrap it up. And please reach out anytime if you guys have questions. Again, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll be in touch soon.
Thanks, everyone.